All right, we're back.
Welcome.
Welcome back. We're here. My father is back again to guess more JoJo stands.
So this has kind of like become a big thing, and like 100,000 people have watched this, and I have to say you're all weirdos.
Well, for the most part, people like you. There's some people that are calling you a boomer.
I'm not a boomer. I'm Gen X.
He's Gen X. He's like the generation between all of the problematic generations.
Yeah, I'm the generation that doesn't care about you and your crap.
But yeah, and this time I also have notes on how all the stands work, so that I don't get them wrong again. But anyways, and you remember that for the most part, all of these are named after band names again. The first two are from part 3, so they aren't, but I included them just because I like them.
Okay. So, this is a guy who, whole horse, and his stand is a gun, and it appears to be the gun that he uses. And which reminds me of Megatron, because Megatron is a guy who turns into a gun. And so I'm going to name this guy Megatron.
I totally forgot about Megatron. He's the best Transformer, but yeah. It's named Emperor. And yeah, it's just a gun that can shoot bullets and control them. I just included it because it's a gun.
Oh, nice.
But yeah. This one's probably...
Oh, mannish boy.
This one's probably one of like my favorite stand battles in the series, probably.
Alright, so who are we naming here? Is the kid or
No, the kid is the user, and the little scythe guy is the stand.
Okay. I mean, the obvious thing would be Grim Reaper, but he's got kind of a clown thing to him. We're going to call him the Grinning Reaper.
The Grinning. That's nice. It's called Death 13.
Death 13. Oh, I forgot to say what his power is.
Oh, yeah. What's his power?
Death 13. Is that he's got a scythe and he kills people. I'm going to say that he can control... He's like the mummy. He can control scorpions. We've got a scorpion here on the screen. He can control scorpions. He can control sand. He is a spooky dead guy.
Alright. So Death 13 is a stand that only exists in like the dream world. Like in the world of dreams. And anyone that falls asleep near the user will get sucked into the dream world, and then the user can kill them in there.
Oh. Well, don't fall asleep near him.
Nope.
I sure won't.
And now we're on to the ones with band names.
Alright. Alright, so Kaicho Nijimura turns into a bunch of little green soldiers.
He turns into a bunch of little green soldiers?
I don't know how these things work.
The stand appears next to them.
The stand appears next to them. Okay, I thought that he turned into him. So he has a bunch of little green soldiers next to him. I'm going to... They all have spooky faces. And they all have band names.
Well, it's all just one band name.
One band name.
Or music artist name or song name, whatever you want to go with.
Yeah. I have no idea on this one. I'm going to say Green Acres.
Green Acres?
Green Acres is the place.
I was kind of hoping you'd go with like Seven Nation Army or something, because that's what I thought would be cool.
Excellent. Seven Nation Army.
They're called Bad Company.
That's a good name for them. Bad Company.
And they're basically just little toy soldiers that can like shoot tiny little guns with tiny little bullets. And they have little helicopters and landmines.
So can they hurt people, or do they just
it does hurt
pinprick
people.
them?
It does hurt people, but like the bullets aren't really fatal. They just put tiny little bullet holes in you.
It's like in did you ever read The Indian in the Cupboard?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
and
like
he
that.
made little soldiers, and then they would shoot him, and it was like getting pricked by a pin.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. Okay, so this one and the next couple ones after it, they don't really have like a physical form. It's just like a power. So it's kind of, I just have a picture of the power, and you can that'd be easier to guess. But
okay, so this power appears to be something controlling the ether, the some kind of tentacly void. I'm going to say that it can control people's minds. It zips out, and the tentacles go into your ears and in your nose and in your eyes, and they take over your brain. And I'm going to call this one Purple Haze.
there was already a standing other one named Purple Haze.
Oh, darn it.
It's fine. Love Deluxe.
Oh, Love Deluxe.
And I chose a bad picture for this. It's actually her hair right there.
Oh.
And what it allows her to control her hair, and like she can shoot strands of hair into other people's hair, and then she can control their hair, and it can like grow out.
This brings up an important issue. Your mother has been trying to convince me for years that there's such a thing as a hair sliver, that you can get stabbed by a sliver of hair. And I insist that it's not true. So you, dear listeners, if you've ever heard of a hair sliver, then please leave a comment. And if you've never heard of a hair sliver, then you're on my team, because hair slivers don't exist.
I've never heard of a hair sliver. I feel like you'd have to have like really like, I don't know, sharp hair to get
really sharp hair and like stabby, and I don't know how it would happen. But my mom, not your mom, my wife, insists that it happens.
It's never happened to me, so.
Oh, this is a creepy thing. Shizuka Joestar. Joestar? I'm familiar with Joestar.
Yeah.
So Joestar here appears to be a baby with no skin? What? It's got no hands and no ankles? That's creepy town. And then the stand is a ghostly form holding a ghostly baby?
That's just the power, because remember, it doesn't have like...
Oh yeah, it just doesn't have a power. So it's going to be... This is creepy. I don't like this one. This one is going to be named Baby Got Back. And it's going to be... Its power is... It just seems to be picking up the baby and carrying it around. So maybe the baby can move around on its own and fly around and get ya.
I thought this one would be kind of easy, just from what it is. It's called Octung Baby.
Oh, Octung Baby.
Yeah. And what it does is it makes her invisible, and like anything she touches invisible, sort of, if she gets like really upset. Because like... She's a little baby. And so, like, she's, like, permanently invisible. So, like, that's just makeup so that you can see the baby's face. But, like, her hands and legs are still invisible.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this one's another power.
Alright, this is another power. So this is, Mikitaka Hazakura.
Close. Mikitaka Hazakura.
And, his power appears to be... that he transforms out of a shoe? He, like, turns into a ghostly shoe? That is a shoe, right?
Yeah, that's a shoe.
It's got shoelaces, and that's weird. So, I'm going to say his power is, he's going to be named Trail Runner. And he's going to be named Cross Trainer. He's going to be named Air Jordan. And his power is that he can turn into inanimate objects and then hide, I guess?
That's actually, like, basically what it is, sort of.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
And yeah, it has the power to shapeshift into any object, sort of. He can't transform into, like, people or, like, complex machinery and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that's kind of interesting about this character and his stand is that it's not really clear if it's a stand, because when he's first introduced, they think he's a stand user, but he actually says, "Oh, I'm an alien, and this is just my alien power." And it's never really confirmed either way. So it's just kind of a fun little thing.
Well, he's got pointy ears like a Vulcan.
Yeah. I don't think he's a Vulcan, but that'd be cool.
Tama. Now, is this a stand or is this a...
It's kind of both. I'll explain in a second.
Okay, so it's a bit of a flower. I'm going to name it Flower Power as a good band name. And I'm going to say that it's pollen. It gets you with its pollen, and its pollen poisons you and controls your mind.
Okay, so it's called Stray Cat.
Oh.
And so basically what this was is it was actually a cat before that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got pierced by this this stand arrow, which is an arrow that gives you your stand. And it killed it, and it was buried in the backyard of a villain's house. And then, like, when it got, like, it turned into a flower, basically. So now it's, like, half cat, half flower.
Uh-huh.
It's also a stand. And it can control air with its whiskers and shoot compressed air bubbles at people to attack them.
That seems like a totally normal thing for a half cat, half flower thing to do, is to shoot air bubbles.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, weird. Alright, I won't say his name. I can't tell what those little weirdos are. They're like bugs. With funny faces and a hole in their head. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm gonna name them the Dave Matthews song "Ants Go Marching," because it looks like they're a bunch of ants marching.
I think it's just called Ants Marching, but...
Ants, you're right. Ants marching. And I'm going to say that their power is that they can shoot something out of their head and that they can overwhelm you with sheer force of numbers.
All right. So its name is Harvest.
Harvest.
And what they're basically just a bunch of little dudes that they can run around for very long distances and collect tiny objects. And what's kind of cool about it is that the user uses it to gather, like, loose change that's just lying around on the ground, so he accumulates, like, a ton of money from it.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty handy, and I like it.
Oh, well.
Also, this is Max's favorite stand, I think.
Oh, well.
So if you ever see him running around the house yelling, "Harvest!" Oh, that's what he's doing.
Oh.
He's talking about that.
Weird. Alright, so here we've got Yuya Fungami. His tie says Speed King. Maybe that's what I'm going to name his stand, Speed King. He's got a little bit of an Egyptian beard on his chin. He's got a little bit of a harlequin kind of body. I'm going to bank my money on the fact that his tie says Speed
King.
King.
It's not Speed King. There actually is a stand named Speed King. It's not on this list, but it is by the same band, if that helps.
Oh, it doesn't, because I don't know a song called Speed King.
Okay.
I'm going to name him Harlequin. And he can... His power is that he can change shape and color. Not change shape, but he can change color. He's like a chameleon. And he's like a hologram chameleon. And he does awesome things.
So this guy's name is Highway Star.
Highway Star.
And what it is, it has a really, like, extreme sense of smell. And when it, like, it can like, lock onto one person's scent and chase it around really fast. And then when it gets to them, it can suck out all their nutrients and transfer them to the user. so that it can heal him.
Oh. Oh, of course it is. Oh, Pulpo. Got a pointy nose. I'm not sure which is weirder, the stand or the dude. The stand's got a little bit of a bug-looking face, but also kind of a mushroom kind of thing going on. I'm gonna say that it is. I want to say all these people have mind control. That's what I want all of them to have, is mind control. But that's too normal, because all of these guys are super weird. So I'm going to say
another thing people were calling you out on in the comments last time.
Is that everything has mind control?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one doesn't have mind control. This one can search out people by their brain waves. Oh, that's kind of a mind control thing. It can latch on to people's thoughts and create images. It can create nightmares, and it can inhabit your nightmares, and it can make you crazy. And its name is Sugar Plum Fairy.
Great. It's called Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
And this stand it can only, hides in the shadows and attacks people from there. But, if it steps into the sunlight, then it's damaged.
Oh, well.
But, yeah.
Fine. Formaggio, well, that's like the name of a cheese. So I'm going to say that this guy... cheese, I don't know his name yet, but Formaggio Reggiano, like Parmigiano Reggiano. His name is Reggiano, and his power is the power to create spores and mold to grow blue cheese, or the equivalent of blue cheese, on your enemies, and turn them into mold and infect you with moldy spores. That's not mind control, is it?
I just like how you made everything about him related to cheese. But yeah, his name is Little Feet. And what it does is it, cuts a person with that really long fingernail of his, and then it makes them slowly shrink in size.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I don't like this guy. I think he's looking a little too strutty, and he needs a shirt.
A lot of characters in Part 5 need a shirt.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that the stand, his name is Goldfinger. And his power is that he can expand, and that he can grab you and wrap you up and suck you into him, and you disappear.
Nice. It does kind of have the sucking into stuff. It's called Man in the Mirror.
Nice.
And instead of sucking you into himself, he sucks you into a mirror world, which is just the world. It sucks you into a mirror. And the world inside is just a reflection of the world outside. And then he can kill you in there, because you can't really use your stand in there. So
fine. Prosciutto, and he needs a shirt, and he's got a weird old stand. And I've come to realize that what the stand looks like has nothing to do with what their powers are. And so I'm going to say that Prosciutto... Whereas normally I would say that he has the power of some type of cured meat. I'm going to say that Prosciutto's, his stand's name is Meatloaf, because we're going for a band, because it does nothing to do with anything. Meatloaf, and his power is that he can see with all of his many, many eyes, like a potato, He can see into your heart and see your fondest dreams and deepest wishes, and he can suck them away until you are unhappy and you're very, very sad.
That'd be a really cool stand power, actually. It's called the Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead.
And it creates like this sort of mist or smoke thing that causes people that get touched by it to start aging super fast. And it's like sensitive to body heat, so like the way they like fight it off is like they like touch ice cubes to themselves so that they age slower. And
really?
Yeah.
Pesci. Joe Pesci. He's a fisherman. His stand is a fishing pole. Rod and reel. We're gonna go band name Rod and Reel. He's gonna be Rod Stewart. Or no, he's gonna just be Fish. Phish. Fish. The band Fish. He can snag you from far, far away and grab you and pull you in and reels you in, and then the little dinosaur head there eats you.
That's actually kind of what it does. It doesn't have the dinosaur head thing, but I like that addition. It's called Beach Boy.
Okay.
And yeah, it does kind of like grab you, but it can also like move through different objects. So like it could drag you like through a wall if he's like very far away.
Oh, Melanie. Malone.
It's a boy. Just to clarify.
Malone. It's hard to tell. They all need to be wearing more clothes. The stand is a robot, and the stand has a floaty laptop computer that is like an old school laptop computer. So I'm going to call it a power book, except that's not a computer name. Mr. Roboto. We're going to call it Mr. Roboto. And its power is that it has the power of the internet. It can search any information that you need, and it can hack anything and take over computers and take over traffic lights and take over power grids and control everything.
Nice. It's called Babyface.
Of course it is.
So this one, he uses the computer to examine the traits of a woman that's nearby and like find out if it's like, and then use her traits to create like an artificial child, which is that thingy.
Oh.
And then the child grows and like just kind of grows on its own on like the ground, and like it acts on its own, and he can communicate with it through the computer, and the little child can like break things apart into little cube things and rearrange them.
Okay.
This one's kind of complicated.
Oh, this is another good one that we'd name Fish. Squallow, but its name is probably not Fish. Its name, he's an armored little fish. His name is Iron Maiden, and his power is that he's got an all-seeing eye, and he's got a normal eye. Although both of them look weird eyes. I can't tell which one is his weird eye, because they both look super weird. Oh, no, wait, he's got two eyes, and then he's got a center weird thing. I see it now. I was looking at it funny. So he can shoot a laser out of that eye, that middle weird thing. And he can float around and fly around and stab you with his spiky pinprick thing on the back.
Nice. Called Clash. And it's basically just a shark that can like teleport between different types of liquid. And also, like, it can change size so that it can fit inside the liquid. So it can, like, teleport from, like, a river to a bowl of soup. And it'll change to be pretty small.
Well, then I'm going to stay away from liquids. Tiziano. Alright, so this stand... eventually, one of these stands is going to be named Velvet Underground. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but they're going to name one, and they're going to pay me royalties. Have we already had one named Pink Floyd?
No, there isn't a stand in any JoJo named Pink Floyd. I'm sorry.
This one should be named Pink Floyd. This one should be named... I have no idea.
Give you a hint. It is the name of a band, if that helps.
then we're just going to call him Meatloaf again. Meatloaf, and Meatloaf's power is that Meatloaf has tendrils on its head that it can use to grab onto things and suck them into its own brain, and so it can gain more and more power and more knowledge, and it can gain the power of whatever it's attacking because it sucks it into its own brain.
All right. His name is Talking Head.
Oh, Talking Head.
And basically it's really small. It latches onto a person's tongue, and then it forces everything that person says or does to be a lie. So if they were trying to say, the enemy is over this way, and they were pointing right, they would suddenly point left and say, the enemy is over that way.
Oh, Talking Head. Carne. So its stand should be named Asada. Or Chili Cone. I can't tell what the crap that is. It is I can't tell if those are eyes. I can't tell if those are feet. It is asymmetrical.
Sitting on, like, the ground.
Is it sitting on the ground? I can't tell what it's doing.
It's its eyes, and those are, like, I guess it's hands. And it's, like, all connected like that with a little...
But it's asymmetrical.
Well, yeah. It's
I
just
don't
got a
care
little
for
thingy.
it. It's weird looking.
It's one of my favorite
I'm going to name
stands.
it Boston Baked Beans because it kind of looks like Boston Baked Beans. And its power is that it can... If it's one of your favorite stands, what can it do? It is super fast, and it is like a little race car, because those look like kind of hands that look like kind of wheels. And it's super fast, and it zips around, and it can mesh with organic material and suck organic material into itself and multiply in size.
That's kind of what it does. It's called Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, sweet.
And so in order for this stand to work, the user has to die, which is an interesting way to start out. So the user, and then all like the rage or something like from the user gets transferred into the stand, and then the stand will like... If someone touches the user's dead body, then the stand will latch onto it and slowly feed off of its energy. And it will also attack, like, it will only attack, like, the fastest moving thing that it sees. So, like, if someone was standing still and the other person was, like, walking back and forth, it would attack that person. Yeah. And it grows bigger depending on how much energy it absorbs.
Very nice. Secco.
So this is another one, like in the other one I showed you, White Album, which is a stand that is in a suit. So, but he doesn't have any pictures of him without the suit, so I just had to show you a little picture of his abilities. So this is a stand
of his abilities. Well, his ability appears to be flying through the 1980s. In the stand picture, he doesn't have eyes, but in the picture, the Secco picture, he does have eyes. I think
that's just shadow.
Is that shadow? It's not that he's invisible?
It's not that he's invisible, because you can kind of see his face there.
So, he's either splashing through mud or through mist or something like unto that. He is becoming one with the night. He can turn into smoke and disappear. And he can use smoke to do his bidding.
That's a pretty cool idea. This one's called Oasis. And basically it can just turn like the ground or any solid matter into liquid that he can like swim through. And other people can swim through. So
it is kind of mud.
Yeah. This one I technically showed you in the other one, but I didn't show you the user. And it was part of another stand. And I don't know if you remember what it's called.
I don't remember anything.
Okay.
Vinegar Doppio. So this stand looks like just a little slug of flesh. It looks to be in pain. I'm going to say that it latches onto you and like a slug would and absorbs your life energy and puts you into great pain and transfers its deep sorrows onto you. And its name is lump.
It's called Epitaph.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of another stand I showed you called King Crimson, where it sits on the top of its head. And King Crimson could skip forward skip forward in time, sort of, I guess. Or just, yeah. And what he can do is he can see forward in time, so he knows what time to skip.
Oh.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Scalippy. His stand is Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. What's a good name for that?
I feel like this is something
Stone Temple Pilots.
It's kind of easy to get this one, actually. I want you to get this one right.
Oh, no. The name, you mean?
Yeah, the name.
Okay. Boulder.
Stone.
I've got Stone Temple Pilots. I've got Stone Phillips. Stone Rolling Stone. Is it Rolling Stone?
It is Rolling Stones.
Very nice. The Rolling Stones' ability is that it has power over gravity and that it can change its mass.
It's not what it can do, but there is a stand that has power over gravity later on here. So basically, this one is a whole mess. What it does is it follows someone around nearby who is fated to die soon. And then it will, like, when it reaches them, it will, like, break down to show how the person dies. Kind of like a sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the person who is going to die can, like, do, like, one of three things. Like, they can touch the stone, which will kill them instantly, painlessly, and it will not be as painful as their other death, which is the second thing they can do. They can just let the stone be, and then they'll just die normally. And the third one that can also kind of happen is if someone else destroys the stone for them, it won't really, like, it won't stop their death from happening, but it'll, like, stop the stone from following them around. And I think, like, it also can, like, make them die a little bit later than normal, but when I was reading up on the wiki before this just to make sure, it didn't really say anything about that, so that's kind of how I interpreted it, though, but...
A harbinger of doom.
Yep.
Hermes Costello, like Elvis Costello.
Yeah, I think that's what she's named after.
So its stand is going to be Elvis. And its power is... It's made of gold. It's got the Midas touch. It can... Anything it touches turns to money. It can shoot money out of its hands. It can... turn anything to gold.
Okay. It's called Kiss.
Kiss.
And what does, like, all those little, like, kiss stickers on it. And those are, like, little stickers that it can take off. And then it can stick it onto something, and that something will duplicate. So if it, like, stuck it on my mouse, it would turn the mouse into two things. And if you removed the sticker, then the two mouses would collide, and there would be, like, this kind of, like, miniature sort of explosion sort of thing that would cause a lot of damage.
Oh.
So, like, it's pretty cool.
Emporio El Nino. Okay, so that's a picture of him there. We've got a computer that's broken. We've got a Roy Lichtenstein painting on the wall.
This one is another one. It's more like an ability rather than like a physical form.
Yeah. It appears that the ability is a tragic childhood, where
that's not wrong.
Very, very sad. The ability is I don't know, childhood trauma. We're gonna name him Man Child. We're gonna name him Piano Man. And his power is it's the power of childhood trauma.
Can it, like, inflict childhood trauma on people, or is it just he has so much childhood trauma that it manifested as a piano?
So much childhood trauma that he smashed in his... He's a Gen Xer, and he smashed in his computer because he was so upset that his rich parents, with their Roy Lichtenstein painting and their fancy piano, left him all alone, and it looks like there's some water on the floor, and his life just isn't how it should be, and he's very upset, and he inflicts that pain onto other people.
Okay. It's called Burning Down the House.
Okay, that's a good childhood trauma name.
So basically what it is it allows him to see ghost objects, which are objects that have been destroyed and then like appear as ghost forms. So like that room right there was a room in a prison that burned down, and when it was rebuilt, they didn't rebuild the room. So we can like go into that room and interact with it and stuff. And it's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
But you're right, he does have a very troubled childhood. And this one and the one after it both have a stand user and a stand that share a name.
Oh.
There's reasons for that, but...
Alright, we're going to call this one, this is a weird robotic kind of stand with kind of a skeletal body. She is kind of a Tinkerbell-like haircut. We're going to... I can't think of a good name for either of these. That is... we've already used Black Sabbath.
It is a band name, I'll tell you that.
It is a band name. Does it have anything to do with what he looks like?
I don't know too much about the band other than that it's a band.
Alright, well, it's going to be The Cure, and its powers are that it is a gentle giant, and it heals, and it can, even though it looks grisly and death-like, it can save your life and take care of you.
I like that one. I think there's a JoJo light novel where there's a stand named The Cure. They're both called Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
So the reason they share a name is because originally this girl is just some random girl, and this stand was a bunch of plankton that got a stand.
Oh.
And so, like, this stand initially appeared as, like, an enemy that was fighting the main character, Jolene, and her buddies. And then it ended up killing this girl and a bunch of other people. And then at the end, it kind of, like, in typical JoJo fashion, it joined the main characters at the end of the battle. And so, like, all the plankton got sucked inside of her body, and so it moves around as a person, like, disguised as a person, just a bunch of plankton inside of them. And basically its powers, like, it can, like, use its plankton to, like, seal people's wounds and kind of help them, like, sort of healing, I guess. And it, like, it's incredibly durable since it's just a bunch of plankton, and so, like, it can't really, like, if you hit the stand, it wouldn't really transfer onto the plankton. But it does need, like, a lot of water, so she just, like, goes around carrying, like, a jug of water with her the entire time.
Weird.
Oh, yeah.
That's super weird. So do you know what the name Foo Fighters comes from?
No, I don't.
It doesn't come from food fight, which is what I always used to think it came from. It comes from a World War II term for, and this is going back to me being a boomer, even though I'm not a boomer or a greatest generation, but it is a World War II term. Fighter pilots would see things at night, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, and then people in the comments will say, oh, he's getting it wrong, he's trying to be smart, and he's getting it wrong. No, they would see things at night with the fighter pilots when they were flying, and they were like UFO kind of things, and he would see them at night, and they were referred to as Foo Fighters.
Cool, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's another one that shares a name.
Oh.
And there's, like, a very simple reason for this one. He just has amnesia, and so he can remember the stand's name, so he just goes by the stand's name.
Oh, I gotcha. Its name is Cloud Atlas. That's not a band name. Cloudy Dan. That's the name of a song. Cloudy Dan. And its power is that it can control the weather. And that it can turn giant and be up in the sky. And control the weather.
It can control the weather. I don't think it can turn giant, but it's called Weather Report.
Weather Report.
Yeah. It also has another variant called Heavy Weather, but I didn't put that on there because I just didn't want to.
Fine.
It was long. And I didn't want to read it.
Narciso Anasui. Alright, so we've got some D's on this one. D. So we're going to go with the band name Delight. And its power, this thing seems to me he's got a little aqua thing on his back, a scuba gear on his back, So it's going to be either it has to be in the water and it uses the aqua gear to... I'm going to say that it uses the aqua gear because it belongs in the water and it's got water on its back that it's breathing through the water when it comes onto land. And its name is Delight.
Cool. So it's called Diver Down.
Diver Down.
And one of it's got a couple different abilities. One of them is that it can store kinetic energy in something, and then if a person touches that thing again, then the kinetic energy will go back and hit them. So say, for instance, he kicked a wall. If he kicked a wall, then if another person touched the wall, they'd get kicked back.
Like Black Panther's suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that it can phase inside something and break it down, go inside a wall again and break it apart, or it can rearrange it on the inside. So
cool.
It dives into stuff, kind of Diver Down. And this guy, I showed you him on the other one, but he's just so extra that he technically has 3 stands. I mean, it's technically 1, but they're all kind of different.
Okay, he's got a disc, a CD. I was hoping that it would give me a name, but it just says disc on it.
The disc is related to the power, by the way.
The disc is related to the power, so I'm going to say that it is not a music-related disc, but I'm going to say that it is a storage-related disc, and that it is a memory-saving device. I can't read. He's got TGAC.
It's GACT. It's like a DNA thing.
Oh, so that's not his name. I'm going to name him Iron Maiden, because he's got the spiky neck and a spiky head, and that's kind of like the opposite of an Iron Maiden, I guess. But anyway, it's Iron Maiden, and its power is storage of knowledge.
Like the knowledge of a person?
Yeah, it can store knowledge on its CDs and gain the knowledge of other people.
That actually is kind of what it does. It's called Whitesnake.
Nice.
So it can its disc ability is that it can take memories or stands from people in the form of those discs. Mm-hmm. And the user can put it inside them and can put it inside other people. And it also has this ability where it creates this acid that slowly digests you, and it puts the person that's being digested in this dreamlike state, so they aren't aware that they're being digested.
Oh.
He's
got a second stand.
Yeah, he's got 3. Even though they're technically 1, they just kind of evolve.
Oh. Well, if we got Whitesnake, then this one is going to be named...
It's not related to Whitesnake.
Oh, not related to Whitesnake. This one is going to be... We're going to name him Rage Against the Machine. And its power is... I don't know if his power is still related to the... Is it still related to the disc?
It's not really. It kind of still has that power, but it has new abilities.
New abilities. Alright, so... It already has its stealing memory power. I'm going to say that its new power is that it can... I'm plumb out of ideas. It can kill you with a touch.
I guess that's sort of what it can do. Not really, but it's called Sea Moon.
Sea Moon.
And that it can control gravity around the person, and it can also invert the surfaces of objects.
Oh.
So that's pretty neato. This one is also an ability.
Oh, neat. So we've got Van Gogh. We've got presumably other artwork that I'm not recognizing.
They're I don't want to say what they are because that might give it away.
I'm going to say The Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man is the name of the stand. Its power is that it can create images and communicate with people through images. I don't know.
It's called Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it takes images of, like, pictures of characters, real or fictional, and it turns them into living things. Oh. And each, like, person has to, like, act out, like, finish the story they're a part of. So, like, take, for instance, those little goats. Their story is that, like, they all get killed, like, eaten by a wolf, and the mama goat cuts open the wolf with scissors. And so, like, when the goats come into real life, they think, like, the first person they see is just, like, one of the characters walking around. And they think he's the wolf, and so they have to cut him open, and they try to fight against them.
That's Creepy Town.
But they don't cut him open, so that's good.
This is such a weird show.
It is.
I guess this is why they call it JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
Because if they called it JoJo's Normal Adventure, then we wouldn't have all of this weird stuff.
Yeah. Like this guy's cow suit.
Oh, that is a cow suit. Also, I can't tell which one of these are guys or girls.
That guy's a guy. For the most part, you can safely guess that they're mostly guys.
Okay, he's got a frog on his hand, and then it looks like that is some kind of... I mean, at first I thought it was a sword, but it doesn't look like a sword. It looks like a diagram of a...
most just talking about that. The diagram is just sort of... It's the image I chose for it. Basically, that little frog thing can control... those things.
Oh, okay.
And you have to I'm aware that I just told you their ability, but you kind of guess what the things do.
I don't know what the things do. It controls those things. They look like little windmill things. They look like little spinners, like a drill. Like that thing comes out and it cuts into you, and I'm sure that's not what it is. But it's like a frog, but it's got like this weird duck head. He's got a cow suit, and all of that put together makes me name him Duck Frog Cow, and that's his power.
Okay. His name is Sky High. And like those things like fly around in the air, and you can control them. And, like, if they fly past stuff, it can, like, take the heat out of your body.
Oh,
and, like,
really?
It can then, like, you can use that to control your muscles.
Weird. Donatello versus Capcom. Okay, so he's got a little thing on his chest that looks like a little medic alert. So I'm going to say that he's a healer of some kind. He is a healer. He is a healer of both mind and body. His power is, or his name is he a band name?
I believe so, yeah.
I believe so. All right. So his name is, we're going to name him Dead Air because that's what we've been listening to.
Okay. His name is Underworld.
Underworld.
And it can, like, pull memories from the ground and trap people inside of them. Oh. So, like, he pulls a memory of a plane crash out of the ground and traps someone inside it.
Okay. Right. Sports Max. All right, this is very clearly it melts someone with acid and melts them. So there's a person and they dissolve in a puff of melty smoke, and its name is acid reflux.
All right. It's called Limp Bizkit.
Okay.
And then what it can, like, I think that's just stuff on top of it. Basically what it is it can bring dead things back to life as invisible zombies.
Oh.
And I guess that's just stuff on top of an invisible zombie. I don't remember much
that's
of
what it
would
look like, I guess.
But, so, in the last video, I mentioned there was a stand, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, and its English counterpart, Filthy Acts, at a reasonable price.
Yes.
This one also has a fantastic English name, because it went to Flaccid Pancake.
Flaccid Pancake. Oh, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Gucci looks like Gucci needs to eat more.
Sure, his name is supposed to be Guccio, but
Guccio.
It's fine.
Guccio, for shame, you're going to get hateful comments for naming him Gucci instead of Guccio. Okay, so it looks like there are these little scorpion squid things that are left as footprints behind people who are walking.
The people aren't relevant.
Okay, the people aren't relevant. So they are these bug, snake-like, squid-like, scorpion things that are on the ground. They are gleaming and glittering, and their names are Shine On You Crazy Diamond, and the power is, I don't know what the power is. They don't have they're so weird looking. They crawl around. They know what's happened on the ground before, and they are able to astrally project and connect to old memories.
That'd be a pretty cool stand idea. This one's called Survivor.
Survivor.
Now, this one is said to be one of the weakest stands.
That's because they're like jellyfish on the ground.
But yeah, they kind of are like that. Basically, they travel along wet surfaces and they shoot people with like a little tiny jolt of electricity that makes them super aggressive. And so they start fighting and killing people.
Oh. Is it Gyro Zeppeli or is it Euro Zeppeli?
Gyro Zeppeli, I believe. That's
too bad. And he's got Mickey Mouse ears on his stand. And purple dots all over him. I'm going to say that his big green mouse ears are because he can hear what is going on all over the world. And he is always hyper aware and hyper vigilant of anything that's going on all around him. And then he can mount an attack. And his name is Modest Mouse.
Alright. His name is Ball Breaker. And basically, this one is kind of difficult to explain. I didn't put it on the other one because it only shows up like very briefly near the end and it doesn't really get a proper explanation. It's basically, in part 7, there's this other special ability that is in a stand called the spin that allows you to spin things. And his is basically just, he developed the spin really well, and so it developed a stand form.
Okay.
So it can like spin stuff, and it can also rapidly age people. So
okay.
It's kind of like Grateful Dead, but only just to one person instead.
Mountain Tim, and that is a chain of bells on a string, it's like half of an arm because it's got a hand at the top. Is that a hand at the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got an arm chopped into bits on a string, and it's kind of a lasso. So we're going to name him Punjab Lasso, because that's the name of the lasso in Phantom of the Opera. And its power is that it's just creepy as crap.
Okay, so it's called Oh Lonesome Me. And what it isn't like the rope, it's like he can like move his body parts along the rope so he can like reach stuff better.
Oh, I noticed he does have a rope, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's still super weird though.
It is super weird, but I like him. He's a cowboy.
Poco Loco.
And the stand is just the little dude on his shoulder.
Did you know that Brad Pitt's first acting job was dressing up like a chicken and standing out in front of El Pollo Loco?
Is that what this stand does?
This stand sits on your shoulder, and it seems like he's barking orders and saying, go here, go there, to this fellow. It's a weird stand, but it is someone who whispers in your ear and tells you what to do, and it can't get around on its own. It needs someone to carry it around, and its name is Baby Driver.
Alright, it actually is kind of what it does. It's called Hey Ya, and it can do that. It gives the user advice. It also cheers him on and makes him super motivated and stuff, and I really like it.
Cool. Ringo Road Again. And this is some kind of jellyfish squid belt. It looks like a belt, but maybe it's not a belt. It's,
I don't think it's a belt. I think it just grabs onto stuff.
Well, its power is that it can grab onto stuff with lots of its fishy little grippy squid-like hands. And it is nasty and slimy, and it doesn't look very slimy. It doesn't look slimy. But it grabs onto stuff with its little hands, and its name is Hold On, and that's it.
Okay. It's called Mandem.
Okay.
And it can rewind time by 6 seconds.
Oh.
Kind of.
That's would help me if then I could know the name of it. Rewind time for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a balloon animal. Myco and its stand is a balloon animal that can turn into a dog. So I'm going to say that it can turn into any balloon animal that it wants to. So sometimes it's a dog, sometimes it's a sword, sometimes it's a funny hat. It can be any type of balloon shape. And its name is, do you know that at a concert Pink Floyd would fire off balloons of giant inflatable balloons that were pigs and they would float away?
I didn't know that, but
so
that's pretty great.
I would name this Pink Floyd, but we already know there's no one named Pink Floyd. We're going to name this one, I can't think of a song with the name Balloon in it. Black Balloon. There's a song called Black Balloon.
Alright. It's called Tubular Bells.
Oh, okay.
And it's not really like it's like he can blow into like a nail or like a screw or something and turn it into a balloon that he can then shape into something like that. And he can give the balloons like different orders. So like he can give that one an order to be like a watchdog or something.
Oh, okay. Alright.
And just so you know, we're at like 4 more stands, and then we're going to do some characters that are named after bands, but you don't have to guess their powers or anything.
Okay. So this one is almost invisible. Maybe that's just because of the background.
That's just the background. I kind of didn't realize that till I was nearing the end.
Okay, so it's not invisible. It's got dreadlocks. It doesn't have the control of mind powers. It has the power of... It can stretch really far and grab stuff and wrap it up and tie it into a ball and suck it into itself.
And what's its name?
Oh, and its name is Pinkberry.
All right, that's a pretty good name. It's called Paisley Park.
Paisley Park.
And it can like help people like reach different destinations or escape situations easily by like manipulating electronics like a GPS or a phone to like give you directions for where to go.
Okay.
Just kind of why it looks like a map all over it.
Oh, see, I don't pick up on these things. Joshu Higashikata.
Joshu Higashikata.
All right, so he is covered in nails like... what's the name of that Halloween movie with the guy who's covered in nails?
I don't know.
What is that?
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
I feel like I know like it too, but I can't think of it. That's going to bug me. And you're going to leave a comment and tell me what it is, and I'm going to be upset.
Well, joke's on them. I'll Google what it is, and I'll put it up on screen right now.
Bing!
So that none of them can do it.
It's got... Maybe they're buttons. Maybe it's like the inside of Willy Wonka's great glass elevator. And there's a button that makes it go everywhere. And so that's what it can do, is that there's buttons that you can push all over it, and it can go places, and it can do things at your command according to whatever button you push. And its name is Wonkavator.
It's called Nut King Cole, which is supposed to be a reference to Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird one, but basically those are like little like nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm.
And it can like place the nut and bolt on something and like create a joint, and if it removes that, then like it'll break apart. So if you placed it on your wrist, then like and then took it off, your hand and arm would fall apart.
Oh.
And it can also, like, connect things with it. Like, if you took two separate things and put a nut and a bolt in it, then it would connect.
Okay. All right, so this is like Ghost Rider. It's a motorcycle. Is that her riding the motorcycle, or is
no,
that...
it's just a dude.
It's a dude on a motorcycle.
Just a little alien-looking dude.
So we're going to go throwback to the 1990s to a TV show that wasn't Ghost Rider.
I'm going to give you a hint on this one. It's a very newer song. Like
a newer song.
Like 2000s. Like 2000s, 2010-ish. I don't remember when it came out. It's very new, though.
Does it have anything to do with being on a motorcycle?
It's kind of like the album art has a motorcycle on it, though I don't think you would know that. It is a song you know, because you have it on your phone.
Oh, dang it. And then I'm going to not know it. We're going to call it The Distance by Cake, that's too old. That's like early 2000s. But we're going to call it The Distance. It's going to be a motorcycle rider that is a ninja that has swords, and you can't see him because they're hidden because he's a ninja, and drives around and whacks people with his swords and causes general mayhem.
It's pretty cool. It's called Born This Way.
Born This Way, Lady Gaga.
Yep.
Or Lady Gaga.
And yeah, it kind of drives around on a motorcycle. I don't think the motorcycle guy ever gets off of it, but it tracks someone, but it can only be like someone next to them if that person it's tracking opens something like a door or a phone or something. And it can also produce like very cold wind that freezes stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's a super weirdo one. This one also reminds me of that Halloween movie that I can't recall the name of, that we're going to put right here on the screen.
Again.
Ding. This one we're going to name Pincushion, and its power is the ability to split itself in half and go after two bad guys at the same time, and it wraps them up and stabs them with its pokey bits, and yeah.
That's actually a really cool ability. I wish there was like something like that. It's called I Am a Rock.
Okay.
And what it is, like, it will touch someone, and then it can, like, make certain things. Hi, Mom. We're recording. Okay, thank you.
You're the best.
But yeah, when it touches someone, it can, like, make certain things attracted to that person. So, like, it touches someone, and then, like, a bunch of chestnuts start rolling down the hill, and it attacks them. And even if you break it in half, then, like, the different pieces will come and hit you.
Nice.
So, and now we're just on to, like, references to music. You don't have to guess like what they do.
Okay. Alright, so this one is Lady Killer.
Lady Killer. It's Robert Edward O. Speedwagon.
Very nice. This one is
You need a hint, it's a music artist.
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna name him Miles Davis.
Miles Davis. His name is Tom Petty.
Okay, Tom Petty.
And these two have a name that's a band name. Both of them have a band name. Like, it's the same band.
Oh, same band?
But one name, but two names.
Two names. Okay, so it's a band that is... so it's like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, except it's one guy. Like, one of them is Tom Petty and one of them is the Heartbreakers.
Even though we just did
I know, we did Tom Petty, but that's just what's in my head.
These two guys actually, like, work with Tom Petty, so that's kind of great.
Oh, well, now I'm not
They're
going to
the
know
Heartbreakers, but...
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It's going to be Bob Marley and the Wailers.
One of them's Bob Marley, one of them's the Wailers.
The Wailers.
Alright, it's Dyer and Straitzo. Dyer Straits.
She is Lady Madonna.
Ooh, that's a good name. She's Lisa.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's smimey.
This one, just to give you, it's named after an album.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the album is going to be Legend.
Legend. His name is Rubber Soul.
Rubber Soul.
This guy's a band, I think.
A band. He's White Stripe.
White Stripe. Steely Dan.
Oh, okay. She is...
This one's a song.
A song. Lady Marmalade.
It's Hot
Pants. Hot Pants Explosion.
I do kind of like that you immediately realized it was a girl, because when she's first introduced, the characters think she's a boy until like they realize it much later. But I'm glad that you were able to figure that out immediately, because that's kind of a dumb thing, because she looks like a girl.
Yeah.
But yeah. This guy's a boy, by the way.
This guy's, well, it's good
also,
to know.
Both him and his horse have a song by the same band name, but you don't have to guess the horse if you don't want to.
The horse says True Love on it.
I don't think True Love is related to it, unless I'm unaware of one of their other songs.
All right. So it's a song name. They're both song names.
Both song names. By the same artist.
Will you give me the artist?
Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel. All right. So he's Sound of Silence, and the horse's name is Scarborough Fair.
It's neither of those. His name is Mrs. Robinson. And the horse's name, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, it's El Condor Pasa.
Oh, yeah, Condor Pasa, yeah. Well, he needs some pants.
He's from, like, the early, like, BC era.
Okay, well, then we're going to name him Bee Gees.
Bee Gees. His name is Santana.
Okay.
And so he's technically related to this last three dudes right here.
The last three, oh.
They're all named after band names.
Are they all related to each other band names?
No, not really. I think they're all like 80s-ish, 90s maybe, 80s, okay. 90s, 70s, I don't know.
Okay, well then we've got, then we're going to go with Hootie and the Blowfish and Blues Traveler, and who fits in really well with them, Counting Crows.
So which one's Hootie and the Blowfish?
Hootie and the Blowfish first, middle guy Blues Traveler, and the last guy Counting Crows.
Alright. So that guy's AC/DC.
Oh, okay.
You got Wham. And then Cars.
Very nice.
And then we're done!
Hey, well, thank you for the wonderful opportunity to be here. This has been a delight.
I hope it has been.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.